Aqua Tail forces the opponent's final Protect Shield. The opponent then looks to make a catch onto Carbink. Spooky Mafia shows great composure, holds his energy and sends out the Penguin. The Penguin desperately running out of HP, but that's not important. What is important is then big boons Empolion serving up that two-piece combo. The first Hydro Cannon takes care of Carbink, and the second one is going to be knocking out the 8. GG's and thanks for playing. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be taking a look at one of the craziest runs in GBL I have ever heard of. Huge shout out to my friend Spooky Mafia. He started this run at 2,623 elo. 15 sets later, he is at a whopping 3,147. That is a 524 point climb in just 15 sets. So on average, that is a 34.9 elo climb per set, which is absurd. All 15 sets we were using the powerful Shadow Water types Poliwrath and Empoleon. To start off, he was rocking Frostlass in the lead, however later changed it to Quagsire. Without any further ado, let's get into the battles. And in game 1, we see Frostlass into Stinky Winky, the very annoying butt plug. Not fantastic, we say switch into Poliwrath and we're punished by Superior. The opponent goes straight for the Aerial Ace, looking to get off some chip damage before we give him the debuff from the Icy Wind. Spooky Mafia shields up the Aerial Ace and then going to return fire with the Icy Wind. The opponent not wanting to give up that really positive alignment, match shields. Just the counter damage has got Superior down to around half health. Spooky Mafia says, Poliwrath, thank you very much for your contribution, and sees this as an opportunity to come in with Frostlass and completely load up on energy. We are going to have to tank one Frenzy Plant, but after the debuff, that is no issue. Frostlass tanks it on the chin, commits to the full Powder Snow farm down, and we leave close to 100 energy. Spooky Mafia banks all his energy, pivots into Empoleon, drawing out Sableye. Despite hard losing lead and getting punished on the Say Switch, the Steel Penguin now in the driver's seat. Empolion cleanly beats Sableye in the one shield, so if the opponent shields this move up, we'll just fire back to back and win the charge attack priority of the opponent. Obviously recognise that, save the final Protect Shield for Carbink, but the Penguin still not done, farms up just before the Rock Slide, fires off the Hydro Cannon, forcing the final Protect Shield. Even a resisted Rock Slide will secure the knockout from here, but we've got almost 100 energy on Frostlass back out. Comes Frostlass, Spooky Mafia, fires off the hard hitting Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball, not enough to knock out the very annoying butt plug. We're only one Powder Snow away from the Avalanche, and that is going to be all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing. Spooky Mafia off to a very nice 1-0 start. Heading into the next battle, we'll lead Frostlass into Superior. Nice to catch it in the lead. The opponent say switches into Dugong, and this time it's us hard punishing the opponent with Poliwrath. At worst, the opponent can fire off a non-stab drill run that does around 45%. Poliwrath easily withstands the damage. Spooky Mafia then farms up, fires off the Scald, looking to get this Dugong out of here. The opponent looking to make a play at switch. However, we can easily match shield, and this is now just free farm. The opponent, of course, goes for the Icy Wind, but undeterred, we're going to commit to the counter farm down and leave with an Icy Wind and a Scald bank. Back out comes Superior. We fire off the Icy Wind. I think we perhaps should have fired it off immediately, as perhaps would have made Icy Wind number 2, but regardless, we get Superior down below half health. The opponent does leave with the Frenzy Plant bank. We've already seen in the previous battle, a debuff Frenzy Plant doesn't even do half our health. Frostlass absorbs the damage. The opponent then send out Carbink, and High Trainer meet Empoleon. The opponent running the very toxic Carbink Superior core, and that is not going to pick up the dub today. GG's, and thanks for playing. In the next battle, we see Ferrothorn in the lead. This Pokemon has the potential to hit the entirety of our team for super effective, depending on their movesets. Spooky Mafia farms up. The opponent throws after only 5 bullet seeds. This can't be a flash cannon. The opponent fires off the Mirror Shot. Spooky Mafia continuing to farm up, allowing the opponent to reach Mirror Shot number 2. We bank all our energy, send out Poliwrath, and we're greeted by Gramble. Gramble tearing us apart, but Spooky Mafia able to reach the Scald, guaranteeing either the knockout or the Protect Shield. The opponent obliges, putting up that Protect Shield. We then instantly send out the Penguin. We delete them even quicker than the Charms deleted us, and the opponent then sends back out Ferrothorn. Empolion farms up, fires off the Drill Peck. Drill Peck forces the opponent's final Protect Shield. Spooky Mafia with a 2-0 shield advantage, going to respect the potential power whip the opponent baits. With the Mirror Shot, we see no debuff. The opponent then goes for yet another Mirror Shot. Whatever's in the back clearly doesn't like the Penguin. We shield up the Mirror Shot. We then farm up. The opponent makes a very nice catch, or so they'd think, onto Alolan Ninetales. Hydro Cannon lands for massive damage. 2 Steel Wings delete Alolan Ninetales in the blink of an eye, and we fire off the BM Hydro Cannon, and that is going to pick up the dub. Double Charm, get wrecked. GG's, and thanks for playing. Heading into the next battle, we see Giratina in the lead. A pretty neutral matchup. The Shadow Claws hit us for super effective. Likewise, our Powder Snows hit them for super effective. The opponent doesn't even farm up to a Shadow Ball. Goes straight for the Ominous Wind. Oh, God. And they get the boost. Oh, man. This is going to get tricky. We fire off the Avalanche, which, of course, the opponent does invest the shield in. When you get the boost, you essentially shield everything. Spooky Mafia now sends out the Penguin. These boosted Shadow Claws doing so much damage. Spooky Mafia forced to shield up the boosted Ominous Wind, as Poliwrath doesn't really want any part of a boosted Ghost. We fire off the Drill Peck, the opponent goes all in on Giratina, and just these boosted Shadow Claws have got us down to around a third health. Spooky Mafia shields up the next Ominous Wind, we then bank the Drill Peck, snipe with Poliwrath, getting a running start. The opponent then send out Ferrothorn, and things are looking dire. Spooky Mafia able to reach the Icy Wind on the CMP side, but this only hits for neutral due to grass taking super effective from ice and steel resisting. Likewise, I don't think a debuff Power Whip will knock out, but that is even worse. The opponent then makes a very heads up play, sniping with their own Steel Penguin, and unfortunately there is just nothing we can do. We are able to reach the Hydro Cannon on the CMP side, but one Hydro Cannon, even Shadow and Shadow Crime, isn't going to be enough to knock out. The opponent takes us out with the Hydro Cannon, and essentially the boost absolutely fucks us, and we're going to take a loss. Moving on to the next one. Frostlass into the Penguin, not fantastic. We say switch into Poliwrath, and the opponent answer us with Unova Stunfisk, aka the Pancake. Not a particularly bad matchup for us. We shield up the first move as it does do the most damage, especially when you've got an annoying Pokemon like Poliwrath firing off moves, debuffing their attack. I like this play pattern from Spooky Mafia. If we can manage to get all shields down, despite Frostlass having a pretty poor matchup into Empoleon, Shadow Ball does so much damage. It looks like Spooky Mafia is happy to play out the 2 shield. Best case scenario, to be honest, is we'll put this thing into a range where we can come in, Powder Snow farm down, and get the Shadow Ball ready for the returning Penguin. It looks like they are exactly Spooky Mafia's fault. We send out Frostlass. Frostlass gets the Powder Snow farm down, back out. Comes the Penguin. A pretty poor matchup in the 2s, however, when shields are down. Shadow Frostlass absolutely goes to town. Shadow Ball rocks him deep into the red. We pivot into the Penguin, drawing out Gligar. Gligar not going to appreciate this Shadow Hydro Cannon. Get that Gligar out of here. Back out comes the Penguin, and the opponent is going to concede the match. Very nicely done. GG's. In the next battle, we see the Ice Queen into the Grass Snake. Very nice. The opponent safe switches into Cresselia, which of course doesn't have a favourable matchup against us either. The opponent goes straight for the Grass Knot. Spooky Mafia happy to tank it on the chin. He's then going to farm up. Full send the Shadow Ball. The question is, does the opponent respect the damage? Shadow Ball forces the shield. Of course, I'm very disappointed we're robbed of the big boom, but Spooky Mafia, undeterred, makes a very nice Grass Knot catch onto the Steel Penguin. Spooky Mafia with a 2-to-1 shield advantage, happy to shield up the next Grass Knot, keep farming up, wait until he puts this Cresselia into Hydro Cannon range before unleashing the charge move. Spooky Mafia now doubled up, Hydro Cannon goes unshielded, securing the knockout. Back out comes Superior. Spooky Mafia farms up, throws the Drill Peck on the CMP side. Beautiful energy management. Drill Peck won't quite be lethal, but will put him into perfect Powder Snow farm down range. Even an Aerial Ace will be lethal from here. The opponent actually go for an undercharge, pivot out into Carbink. The opponent likely thinking, with Empoleon out the way, Carbink is free to roam. Well, trainer, guess what? It's not. As we've got another answer, Poliwrath. Poliwrath farms up, fires off the Scold. Scold gets the attack drop and forces the Protect Shield. Spooky Mafia correctly shields up the Moonblast, and this is just game over. Trainer, what are you hoping for? If you're hoping Spooky Mafia had a heart attack, he didn't, buddy. We fire off the Scold, securing the knockout. We pivot into Frostlass, and the opponent is finally going to concede the match. GG's. In the next battle, we see a beautiful lead. Frostlass into Dragonite. The opponent once again switches into Cresselia, and again goes straight for the Grass Knot, looking to reset that 1-turn switch. Of course, Shadow Ball takes a 7, so if opponent goes straight for the Grass Knot, they only give us actually 1 free turn. Spooky Mafia goes straight for the Shadow Ball. This time it goes unshielded, and again we see the very nice Grass Knot catch onto the Steel Penguin. It takes Cresselia 6, then 5 to the Grass Knots. However, Empoleon able to get the Steel Wing farm down with 5 Steel Wings, and we leave with residual energy good to go. The opponent chooses to send back out Dragonite. Spooky Mafia farms up, fires off the Drill Peck. Drill Peck forces the opponent's first Protect Shield. The opponent looking for the Dragon Breath farm down, which they get. However, we've still got a 2-to-1 shield advantage and the correct alignment. Spooky Mafia sends back out Frostlass, The opponent bank their energy, send out Ferroform, we go straight for the hard hitting Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball rocks them below half health, we pivot into Poliwrath, and that is just game over. This is going to be the easiest shield of Spooky Mafia's GBL career. We shield up the Power Whip, commit to the counter farm down, and the opponent is going to say no thank you and concede the match. In the next battle, we see yet another Carbink. My god, do I hate this Pokemon. We see the save switch into Poliwrath, and interestingly, the opponent is staying in. Spooky Mafia continuing to farm up. The opponent farms to a potential Moonblast. We see Spooky Mafia respect it, and the opponent is not baiting. They then send out Annihilate. However, behind this much energy, this is not a comfortable matchup. Spooky Mafia goes straight for the Scald, doing massive damage. He's then going to farm up, throw the Icy Wind. Icy Wind forces the Protect Shield. Poliwrath putting in so much work. The opponent still needs to full send a Shadow Ball, as Night Slash just isn't going to get the job done. The opponent tries their luck, throwing the Ice Punch. Poliwrath withstands the damage, reaches one further Ice Wind, and just like that, switch advantage is ours. Out comes Salazzle, so Frostlass looking like very much dead weight. Spooky Mafia sends it out, essentially using it as the damage sponge. The opponent fires off the Poison Fang, which of course is going to be resisted due to our sub-ghost type in Spooky Mafia, looking to force the final protection with the Shadow Ball, which he does. It's now all down to the Penguin. Unless the opponent's got Fire Blast, Empolion is going to resist everything. The opponent's only thrown 3 Incinerates, so actually not got enough energy. They fire off the Poison Fang, then fire off yet another Poison Fang. Even with a lowered defense, this isn't going to be lethal. Spooky Mafia wisely throws one Steel Wing, meaning that Incinerate isn't going to register. The Hydro Cannon will secure the knockout. Back out comes the Energy Dry Carbink. Even with a double lowered defense, they're unable to rock throw farm down. We reach the Hydro Cannon, and Empoleon picks up the dub. Get wrecked, Carbink. GG's, and thanks for playing. If you hate Carbink as much as me, this is a very good team to run, as we are shitting all over that silly butt plug. In the next battle, we see a Pokemon Sonic calls the go. It's a no thank you from Spooky Mafia, a save switch into Poliwrath, and we're answered by Cresselia. So far, this is looking pretty terrible. We land the Scald, which will mean the opponent is going to need to throw a Moonblast or Future Sight to knock us out. Spooky Mafia looks to call the bait. The opponent full send a Moonblast, securing the knockout. Spooky Mafia sends back out Frostlass. The opponent fires off yet another Moonblast, doing a very solid amount of chip damage. Spooky Mafia then farms up, throws the Avalanche on the CMP type. Avalanche will be knocking out from this range. The opponent still hanging on to 2 Protect Shields. Spooky Mafia farms up, throws the Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball lightly forces the Protect Shield, and it's going to be all down to the Penguin. We save Frostlass as a potential 3rd shield and pivot into the Penguin. The Penguin instantly shields up the incoming Bone Club, and then send out Ferroform. I think the only way we win this game is if we can stall the timer long enough to make a catch. Spooky Mafia fires off the first Drill Peck at very nice timing. He then throws on alignment, perhaps looking to play to the CMP type. The opponent takes the extra, invest that final Protect Shield. Our timer still isn't up. The opponent now only 1 Bullet Seed away from the next charge move. Switch timer, please pop up, please. Oof. Only win con now is going to be Powder Snow farming down. Is that possible? I don't think so. It looks like we're looking for that play. Unfortunately, the opponent is going to reach one final Power Whip, and unfortunately, we're going to pick up a heartbreaking loss. GG's to that opponent. Heading into the next battle, we see Frostlass into Mantine. The opponent instantly save switch into the Quagman. Spooky Mafia stays in, fires off the Avalanche. Avalanche, a Side Strike clone, a very hard hitting move, instantly forces a Protect Shield. We're going to see Spooky Mafia respect the potential Stone Edge. The opponent baits with the Aqua Tail. Spooky Mafia continuing to farm up. This time looking to make the catch of the Stone Edge onto Poliwrath. The opponent full sends. What a play. Switch timers are quite heavily misaligned, so the opponent could look to stall it out and save Quagsire. They fire off the Aqua Tail. The opponent continues to stay in, so Spooky Mafia takes the initiative, fires off the Icy Wind. Icy Wind secures the knockout, and we leave quite low, not allowing too much farm. But likely the return in Mantine. The opponent actually send out Annihilate, commit to the counter farm down. We've now got the perfect alignment as the Penguin completely walls Mantine. Of course, we can just send out Frostlass here. Holy, Spooky Mafia not messing around. Full sends the Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball! Oh, of course goes shielded. Spooky Mafia is going to respect the potential Shadow Ball. The opponent fires off the Night Slash. No, and they get the boost. Fuck, this boosted Night Slash will be knocking out, and I think Annihilate is going to run through our team. Spooky Mafia says another boost, fuck RNG, and he is going to concede the match. After Frost last falling victim to the RNG gods, we see Spooky Mafia sticking it on the bench and sending out the Quagman, a channel favourite. Straight away we pick up a great lead. We see a Alolan Ninetales petrified of our Steel Penguin. The opponent safe switches into Gligar. We force a Protect Shield and then pivot out into the Quagman. Quagman absorbs the dig, returns fire with the Aqua Tail. Aqua Tail isn't quite lethal. Can the Quagman get the farm down? Unfortunately we cannot. This is actually an IV dependent CMP. Quagman usually wins, but it looks like Spooky Mafia's Quagman has very good IVs, same as mine, as I keep losing these annoying CMP ties. However, Spooky Mafia able to invest the Protect Shield, maintain alignment. Unfortunately, we just miss out on the Aqua Tail. However, the Penguin is going to eat this Ninetales for breakfast. The opponent safe switches out into Croconaw. Very interesting. We fire off the Hydro Cannon, forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield and pivot into Poliwrath. This mini Croc, much like his big brother, does have access to Disarming Voice, but Poliwrath tanks it like an absolute champ. Spooky Mafia then farms up, looks to fire off the Scald, but unfortunately loses CMP. He invests the final Protect Shield, blocking the incoming Disarming Voice, returns fire with the Scald, which of course will be massive overkill, and it's going to be a race. Can Alolan Ninetales reach a charge move before we get the Steel Wing farm down? They cannot, and Empolion picks up the dub. GG's. In the next battle, what a lead. Stinky Binky has nowhere to run, nowhere to hide against this team as all three Pokemon dominate it. The opponent safe switches into the annoying Flying Vulture. We farm up, fire off the Hydro Cannon. We could perhaps attempt to catch a Dark Pulse onto Poliwrath, or to be honest, we could just stay in as we don't really need alignment. Looks like we're not trying to do anything too fancy. We just pivot into Poliwrath. We absorb the Aerial Ace. Can we counter farm down in 5? Doesn't look like it, so we actually opt to throw the Icy Wind. Icy Wind does secure the knockout. I doubt they bring out Carvinks. They're going to be forced to show their third. The opponent's third is Annihilate. Spooky Mafia just fires off the Icy Wind, guaranteeing the debuff. Icy Wind actually forces the protection. The opponent does get a massive counter farm down, but they are now debuffed. Of course, Empoleon would take super effective from the counter, so Spooky Mafia sends out the Quagman. The opponent falls into the Shadow Ball, nuking us through 2 protection. The opponent is now going to start spamming out Night Slash after Night Slash. Spooky Mafia shields the first. He's then going to start returning fire with these Aqua Tails, which are incredibly spammy, only taking 4 mud shots apiece. Aqua Tail forces the opponent's final protection, then look to make an Aqua Tail catch onto Stinky Binky. Spooky Mafia shows great composure, holds his energy and sends out the Penguin. The Penguin rapidly running out of HP, but has energy for days, and it's going to serve up that 2-piece combo. Hydro Cannon knocks out the butt plug. Back out comes Annihilate, and we're going to get that double kill shot. Hydro Cannon is going to be all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing. Very, very nice endgame from Spooky Mafia. In the next battle, we see Empoleon into Ferrothorn. Pretty neutral matchup, and I suppose we're going to have to stay in, as the Quagman doesn't want any of this smoke. The opponent baits us with a mirror shot like an absolute savage, but undeterred, we farm up, throw 4 Steel Wings and the Drill Peck for optimal fast move timing. 2 turn into 3 turn, you always want to throw at 1, 4 or 7. Holy, this opponent needs some help for that horrible masturbating habit. They managed to double bait us with the mirror shot like a savage. Remember, every time you masturbate, a poor defenseless cat loses its life. This one surely has to be the Power Whip, which it is. And we are now sitting not in the best spot. Although the opponent doesn't commit to a Power Whip, I think they'll actually get counter farm down. So this is only a mirror shot. So Poliwrath would be able to counter farm down. The opponent not wanting to get farm down, pivot out into Mandibuzz. And Mandibuzz is instantly going to be greeted with the Icy Wind. Icy Wind doesn't do too much damage because Mandibuzz has about 6 bazillion HP. But the flip side of that is a hit like a wet noodle. Aerial Ace is super effective, but hardly does anything. Spooky Mafia farms up, fires off the next Icy Wind on the CMP side. Icy Wind isn't quite lethal, but should put this Vulture into aggressive Mudshot farm down range. Out comes the Quagman. The Quagman looking for the Mudshot farm down, but unable to get it before the opponent reaches the departing Dark Pulse, but double debuff that just tickled. Quagman now leaves with residual energy good to go. We need to be mindful Ferrothorn is alive and available as a potential catch. Back out comes Ferrothorn. We're not taking any chance, so we fire off the Aqua Tail, securing the knockout. The opponent's final Pokemon is Unova Stunfisk, and this Pancake is about to have a very nice drink. The first Aqua Tail does around 45%. This next Aqua Tail isn't going to be lethal, but likewise, one Mud Bomb isn't going to get the job done. The opponent desperately looking to double up on charge moves, they're now at the double, but if that mud shot doesn't knock them out, we've got the Aqua Tail banked and Quagman has the higher attack. The super spammy Mud Boy is going to win the CMP tie, and that is going to be all she wrote. GG's. No amount of masturbating from that opponent was able to change the outcome of the battle. In the next battle, we see the Penguin into Dragonair, very nice. The opponent safe switches into Feraligatr. We tried to catch a crunch onto Poliwrath unsuccessfully, but we do resist everything. The opponent fires off the Hydro Cannon. You can see Shadow on Shadow Crime that actually does a very solid amount of chip damage. Spooky Mafia shields up the next one. We should be able to counter farm down before the third, which we get. If the opponent sends back out Dragonair, we're likely forced to protect shield back with the Icy Wind. The opponent send back out Dragonair. Dragonair instantly greeted with the super effective Icy Wind. We force our Protect Shield back. The opponent looks for the Dragon Breath farm down, but Poliwrath says no. Reaches the next Icy Wind. The opponent just completely sacked Dragonair. I cannot believe they actually survived, to be honest. The opponent then safe switches into Melmetal, saving Dragonair on quite literally 1 HP in a dream, and this is just game over. We farm up to the double Hydro Cannon. In the Great League, Melmetal is very glassy. This Hydro Cannon is going to do massive damage. We pivot into the Quagman, and the opponent is going to say no thank you and concede the match. Pretty cool team. I haven't seen Melmetal in the Great League in about 15 seasons. In the next battle, we see the battle of the Steel types. A favourable matchup for us, as we do have the pace and advantage. The opponent safe switches into Thick as Bee, and we answer with Poliwrath. The last time I uploaded, I said you should run Hyper Beam if you want this as a safe switch, as a get out of jail free card. The opponent farms up to the Hyper Beam, and we respect it. A very good shield, as Hyper Beam with same type attack bonus would be flipping this match. We then return fire with the Icy Wind, and we've got residual energy good to go back out. Comes Bronzong. We fire off one counter and the Scald. The opponent shows no respect, and they get debuffed. And Poliwrath has quite literally almost beaten up 2 of the opponent's team. Psyshock does secure the knockout. We send back out Empoleon. The opponent's final Pokemon is Jellicent. With 2 shields, this could get a bit tricky. We force the first Protect Shield with the Drill Peck. Luckily for us, they're on Bubble, so a more favourable matchup for the Penguin. I wouldn't say favourable, but better than, of course, if it was on neutral Hex. I'd still say it's favourable for Jellicent, as they've got Stab on their Shadow Ball, which is a pretty good move compared to our quite lacklustre Drill Pecks. Shadow Ball will be securing the knockout from here, and it's now all down to the Quagman. Of course, we do need to be mindful of the opponent looking to make a catch. The opponent tries their luck, making that catch. Spooky Mafia holds his energy, farms up to an Aqua Tail and a Stone Edge. Aqua Tail knocks out Bronzong. We've got the Stone Edge bank. It's going to be high Jellicent, by Jellicent. GG's, and thanks for playing Quagman, doing Quagman things, sweeping the back line. And Spooky Mafia is going to end today's video with a very nice 5-0, pushing him all the way up to 3,147 ELO. He managed to gain 524 points in just 15 sets, which is incredible. Huge congrats to him. So enjoying the content, smash that like button if you're new, consider subscribing if you like your battles featured on my channel. A link to our battle submission form is down below, and as always, a huge thank you to everyone for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.